Hello everybody and welcome back to CFO Conversations. I'm your host Paula Kensington and I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming two ladies here from Australia. We're back on shore for this series, Rachel Grimes and Taryn Rolton. Thank you so much for coming today and sharing your time with us for this beautiful community of finance professionals. Today I want to talk about development and development of my role as CFO, development for the enterprise that I'm working in, development for projects that are coming up, development of people. And I think, if nothing else, the last 18 months with COVID and the impact, it's really been something that we have to spend time to help ourselves, help our people, help our businesses. And I'm forever hearing, I don't have time. It's like, well, you're never going to get time. You've got to make time. You've got to create time, because we can't get to the end and then want to make a change in our career, or we want to make a move, or we want a promotion, or whatever we want to sort of get to. We have to have done the work before, and that work is around spending time on development. I've talked about personal brand being so important, and as a corporate CFO, we don't do enough in this space. Generally speaking, we're not thinking about how does the outside world consume us, and that outside world might be our board, our CEO, our shareholders, stakeholders, and it's industry wide. It's outside of our organization. How many CFOs are even thinking outside of their organizations? And it's time well spent. I said to people, I used to have a rule of thumb that said you need to spend 20% of your time and salary to actually invest in development, and whether that's technical learning or working with a coach on how to think about selling yourself as finance leaders. And I don't think that's our problem. I think we're pretty good at selling ourselves, but generally speaking, CFOs can be quite introspective and don't find it easy. So how do people think about developing themselves? What can you share, ladies, in your insights to help people think about this?
All right, let me lead off then. Look, I think developing yourself is a very important concept, and no organisation employs you to stand still. They've looked at your CV and it's about your growth of experiences, and they expect you to continue to do that no matter how busy you are. And I think what you learn externally and bring back to your organisation is a powerful piece. And so I encourage every one of my leadership team to work in a charity, because that gives you the first lesson of all pointing in the one direction, be it to, find a cure for cancer, to look after, the RSPCA, etc. Every charity needs a finance person, and I think the first lesson in development, how do we harness that energy and bring back that concept of charity where everyone's in the, pointing the right way back to your organisation. So I think that's the first thing. But I think how other boards look at things and focus, and how they determine strategy and how they measure results, and to bring that back. So I think the opportunity to give your time, but at the same time learn different ways of doing things and bringing that back, is the ultimate sense of development that you can have. And you have a win-win both ways. You're giving your time and expertise, but you're learning a lot more, I guarantee it.
Yeah, and bringing that back to the organisation is a really valuable point. So sometimes people will say, I haven't got time to go out and spend that afternoon at that charity, but the organisation, that's the business case to the organisation. But I'm going to come back with this renewed sense of purpose and passion to bring back into my commercial world.
And possibly 8 to 10 different different contacts and connections that you can call upon in other circumstances.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that one thing happened to me, back in early days of my CFO career, where I had a connection. I could phone them for some advice on, accounting standard, and it saved me going to the professional services firm to pay $50,000 for that advice. I got that for free from my network.
Exactly right.
Absolutely. And I'd also add, one of the greatest uplifts I got in my skill set around writing board papers was to sit on a board and understand what it's like to get a report come to you that's got information about an organization that you see once a month when you drop in, and to understand what it's actually like to receive that information completely changed the way I wrote my reports.
Yeah.
I had feedback that they noticed a huge difference, and it was because I understood more where they were coming from.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I say that about getting out of your bubble, you know, and that's a great way to get outside of yourself and see yourself from the outside in, which is very hard to do, but it gives you a sense of how people consuming me. What is it that they're hearing when I talk? And is it the message that I've got in my head? Are they actually hearing that message, or are they hearing something totally different that's not aligned?
Yes. And the more you can understand that perspective and try and take that without emotion and actually just understand it as a data point, the more you can adjust in order to have control about the way you're doing things, which means you can actually do them more efficiently, which saves you time, which then means you have more time to be able to give back in. It's a beautiful vicious circle of life. You know, you can do things, you can deliver things in many different ways. So you just start adjusting the way you do your day to day, and you can learn from it. And it's just proactively doing that and then reflecting back on it, tweaking again, and just keeping trying and learning through that way.
And it could be as simple as finding 15 minutes every day to, you know, immerse yourself in something that you haven't done before, read something that you haven't read before, you know, and sort of build it up slowly. Because, you know, again, we don't want to leave it to the end of the financial year and then all of a sudden go, oh, I need a week of CPD, or I need a week of some training or development. It's like, well, why wouldn't you just try and do a small bit every month or every quarter? So setting yourself those goals that are more manageable.
And I think that's great advice, because if you look at how CPD can be used or utilised, it can be you giving a speech, you presenting a topic. And I think one of the good things that you want to develop your people, not just yourself, is pick a topic.
Yeah.
Pick a topic like Bitcoin and get them to research it and to give it. So if everybody's giving one topic a week, you've got your CPD hours easily over the year, and everybody's learned something. So, you know, put people out of their comfort zone, but protect them in doing so. And there's numerous topics that you could have, and, you know, organise a morning tea around it. You'd be amazed how many people come to these things when you're offering free food. So
absolutely. And if you've got financial skills in your organisation, offer to go and talk to people about how the budget really works.
Yeah,
correct.
Someone from the other team to come back and talk to you about something, how it actually works in reality, and share knowledge that way. A great way for people to get visibility across the organisation, build a profile, and actually, you know, build some other presentation skills as well.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting to the pointy end of having to do something that actually makes you recognise what your strengths and skill sets are, and, you know, and you have to put them into a story so that you're able to present that.
Yes, and I love the idea about getting them to present on Bitcoin. Absolutely brilliant one.
I don't think I'll be doing that.
Oh, no, you can learn a lot from that. I think it's fantastic. You know, pick a headline out of the newspaper. You know, why did Elon Musk suddenly pull out of Bitcoin and say that it had a lot of, you know, the sustainability issues? I mean, when you break it down, there's a different impacts, and you can learn a lot. Just pull out a headline and make that the topic that you're going to explore with your team.
I love that.
Never know where you're going to end
up. You could do a lucky dip. You could like pull out 5 headlines, and then you've got to like pull one out of the bag. You're like, oh my God, not the Bitcoin one.
But, you know, if you do that first and your team has a confidence and trust, you'll get through your CPD hours, and it'll be development for you and development for your team.
Yeah, that's great. That's really tangible, practical advice. Thank you so much, ladies. That's awesome.
Pleasure. Thank you.